Hey guys, this is Tactical Teacher. At the request of a couple of the people who follow my channel, I have decided to make a gear video explaining some of the major pieces of gear that I use that help me the most on the field. We'll start basically going from my helmet all the way down to the boots that I wear. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment, and I will be happy to answer them. I'll try to leave a link to everything I'm showing you in the video so that you have an idea of what this all costs and also where you can get it. Okay, so let's start at the top. So the first piece of gear that we have to take a look at here is this is a Dragon Red replica of a maritime helmet. Really nice piece. Definitely one of the higher quality helmet replicas on the market. I've been through quite a few of them. Started with the Emerson Fast helmets, which were decent, but certainly didn't hold up to as much stress as this one has. This one actually it does offer some ballistic protection if you're looking to, when it comes to falling, not when it comes to taking bullets. But I do run my Contour HD on the side. It's my personal favorite camera. It doesn't add a whole lot of more width to the helmet. Keeps it pretty thin and still easy to get through things while catching the most video with the wide angle lens there. Okay, so then we also have these two lights. I believe they're called tack lights. Just basically the function of them is for friendly identification, especially when it gets darker or in thicker areas. Haven't had a game where I've actually really had to use these, but it's still a nice thing to have. They come with multiple modes. Same thing with this one. And yeah, so that's basically my helmet setup. Pretty nice. I definitely love it. It's the best one that I've had out of all the ones that I've used. So, okay, so let's move on to another piece of gear that is really important, goggles. Now, if you've been airsofting for any amount of time, you know that as an airsofter, you're going to go through a lot of different pairs of goggles before you find one that you really like. I can't count the number that I've tried. But these are made by Voodoo Tactical. I bought them at Gorilla Airsoft, and they were personally recommended by Jerry, and I couldn't be happier with them. I have not had any fogging issues with these. They hold up really well, and they're really comfortable. They work well with the helmet system I have. Overall, they just make a great package for not being too expensive, but at the same time not fogging up and being difficult to use or not interfacing well with the helmet system. Okay, so now we come to one of the more important pieces of kit that I have, which is my plate carrier. This is a Shellback Banshee, obviously, Coyote Tan. Again, been through a ton of plate carriers. This one is hands down the best one I've ever used. I have not ever gotten my hands on a piece of Cry gear, but honestly, I think for the price, you can't beat it. It's really functional and very comfortable overall. On the front, I do have a set of HSGI taco pouches. They're double magazine pouches. Beautiful thing about these is you can hold pretty much any magazine you want in there, from M4 mags to AK mags. Obviously, once you get up to something like an SR25 or something that has a wider magazine, it doesn't really work super well, but AK mags, M4 mags, heck, I've even run UMP mags in these. They work great. Also, we have here just a standard Condor radio pouch. I do run a push-to-talk, and my radio, again, nothing fancy. My team does use Baofangs, but honestly, I just have a Midland for running for most games. Does the job, and with the push-to-talk, makes it really easy to use on the field. So the final major piece is what's on the back of my plate carrier. It's a Condor. I believe they call it an MOPC. It's basically just the back piece for your plate carrier. I can carry water, extra BBs in here, but the main thing is it's got a really large pocket so I can put my HPA tank in there. It works really well, and it wasn't too expensive, but I know they're getting pretty hard to find. But it works as a great substitute for a map pack if you're trying to find one of those. So, next piece of gear we're looking at here is a battle belt. This particular one is a Hazard 4 battle belt. It's really comfortable, pretty thin and lightweight. I've dealt with some that are really bulky and they're not super comfortable. Just a basic dump pouch. I believe it's Condor, nothing fancy. And a couple of extra magazine pouches. I don't really utilize these a lot, but if I'm playing a game where I needed a lot of ammo at once, definitely helps to have a couple extras so I can throw some high caps in there. And then we have my Serpa for my MP, my Wii M&P replica, and nice to have the holster right at the belt. It's what's most comfortable for me. I've seen people run it on a chest rig, seen people run it on a drop leg. Both of those work, but just for me, this seems to work the best. Right at the hip level, easy to get to, and since I have a real MP as well, it's nice to interface in the same way that I do with my real handgun. Okay, so the last thing clothing gear-wise is my boots. These are a pair of Danners. They call them the Army Kinetics. They're really comfortable. Again, just like any other airsofter, I've been through many pairs of boots. I've run 511s, run many other pairs. They're all pretty comfortable, but I'd say the Danners and the 511s have been the two best for me. So definitely would consider getting a pair of Danners. They are pretty pricey, but they're definitely worth it. They're going to last you a really long time. So now we get to the fun stuff. This is my current primary weapon here. This is a Polar Star. It's a custom build, so from the bottom up, it's all just different parts sourced together. It shoots really well. This is one of my favorite guns, probably the favorite gun I've ever owned. So let's just go from back to front. So starting with the stock, just your standard Magpul MOE. I do run my battery in the back here inside the buffer tube there. My line runs from my pistol grip. It does have a Bealtor body on the Magpul lower here with the Magpul stamp. Pretty sweet. I'm running an in-point replica up top. Again, tried a billion different sights. Have an SRS as well, but this is just what works best for me. Moving on down, we just have a replica key mod rail system and a Noveski flash hider there. I believe it's supposed to be an amplifier. Does the job just fine, but this gun's pretty quiet. Got a PEC box system up here, light laser. Again, more for the CQB stuff that I do every now and then, but it functions really well and fairly inexpensive. I am running just a standard Magpul vertical grip with a push button activator for that PEC box there. Overall, it's really lightweight, but I can get some crazy distance with it. So it's got a Pro Win hop up in there, and it's been flat hopped with the 6.01 Type bore. I can get almost probably 100 yards of range out of this pretty consistently, and it shoots really well. Definitely favorite gun I've ever owned. So now moving on to some of the accessories that aren't directly on the gun. I do run VFC mid caps. Again, been through a lot of different mid caps. Tried KWA 120s, a lot of different ones. This is the only ones that I've had that keep up with my Polar Star's rate of fire and also just hold up to the general abuse that I give them, as you can see by the amount of dinks that are on there. They get dropped, they get thrown in the dirt, they clean up well. Okay, so that's generally everything within gun. As for those of you who are Polar Star users, a lot of people are interested in the tank. I run a 4500 PSI, 60 CI. It's a Ninja tank. It's carbon fiber. It's really light, so I don't have to worry about lugging this massive thing around the field and having it sitting in my back pouch there. And low pressure regulator. Functions just fine. Got some America line there. It's overall, the whole setup works really well. I pretty much don't ever have to screw with it, but I get crazy range out of it, and most of all, it's reliable and consistent over time. Probably the last thing I'm going to cover here is right now I'm running the Wii M&P replica. Do have an extended mag for it. It's really fun. But most of all, this gun is pretty awesome. That's currently I got this one from a buddy. It shoots the tide bores all the way to the end, and it shoots pretty good. So definitely a good gun. Again, I run a real M&P when I shoot real steel, so it's nice to have something that I can train with that functions pretty much the same as my real steel version. So that's going to conclude this gear video for the time being. If you guys have any questions, feel free to post or comment on the videos. I can try to answer them for you as best I can. Yeah, and this is Tactical Teacher. I will see you guys on the field.